Hi everyone. February is not a wait to plant month. It is the month that decides whether or not you're going to grow food this spring. Now, because of the brutal winter a lot of the U.S. has had, many gardeners will make a huge mistake. They'll either wait to plant or start seeds because it's way too cold right now, or you'll plant the wrong crops too early. And if you make these mistakes, there's no catching up. So today I'm going to walk you through what you must plant in February, no matter where you live, using the CaliKim food flow method so you have steady harvests and no big gaps in the food that you grow. First group of vegetables to start from seed now in February are those long season warm summer crops. If you miss this month, oftentimes you have late or very weak harvest. Now the tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, and bulbing onions really need a long period of time to grow indoors to develop that plant structure so they can then produce fruit later in the season. And if they don't develop that plant structure, oftentimes they never catch up and the loss is permanent. Here's why timing is so critical on these long season warm weather crops. If you start too early, they're going to outgrow their seed starting containers, their roots will get root bound, the plants will become stunted, and then that will affect your harvest. But if you start too late, your plants are going to be too small with fewer plant nodes, which means they'll flower late, produce late, and then you could run out of time in your growing season where you don't get a harvest at all. So here's how to get the timing right. Start your seeds indoors about 8 to 10 weeks before your last frost date. So you northern gardeners, even though it's cold where you live now, think 8 to 10 weeks ahead, which puts you sometime in April. Believe me, you're going to be very glad that you started these seeds indoors now. Because it's going to be warm then, and you're not going to want to run to the garden center to buy transplants. You want to have your own. Southern gardeners, no frost date. The sky's the limit. Go ahead and get these seeds started right now. But hurry up and do it, because you'll be able to plant outside within a month or so. So it's super easy to get them started from seed. Today, I'm going to start them from seed using something called deep root trainers. And I really like these because it helps if you get your timing off just a little bit to have these root trainers, because what happens is these little ridges guide the roots down the ridges. The roots hit the air at the bottom, and then they air prune instead of circling around and becoming root bound in the seed starting cells. So I'm just going to fill this with some seed starting mix here, which is slightly moistened, just so it holds together and gives the seeds the moisture they need from the get-go. And I love using this little tidy tray because it keeps things nice and tidy inside or outside, doesn't get dirt all over, and it just makes it really easy to keep everything contained here in one spot. So I'm just filling it with the seed starting mix. I like to kind of poke it down in here so there's no holes for the seeds to kind of get lost in, no air pockets. They can make good contact with the soil, and you can grab the root trainers and the tidy tray over at gardenyourway.com. and they're offering our viewers a 10% discount. So they come in this handy little carrying tray. Just gonna pop it in there. Then I'm gonna get some tomatoes started here. These are in my spring garden seed collection. We've just updated a lot of our seed collections, and these have an absolutely beautiful tomato in it, a rainbow blend tomato. Imagine that. It's an heirloom tomato with lots of different colors, so it's going to be really pretty to grow. So these tomato seeds are super tiny. You do want to be careful that you don't plant them too deep. I'm going to actually plant 2 seeds in each little seed cell. And when you're growing tomatoes and peppers, you can get them started with a heat mat underneath just to raise that ambient temperature just a little bit, because they'll do much better in warm soil, especially if your house is cold this time of the year. And the heat mat underneath will help speed germination. Just gonna gently poke the seeds down in here so there's no air pockets. And I'll put another video in the video description with a little bit more detail on how to get your peppers and tomatoes started. These will go indoors on top of the heat mat under grow lights, 18 hours a day on, 6 hours a day off. And I love this little countertop grow light, also from Garden Your Way, so you can just pop them on your countertop and grow them right in your kitchen. Now the key to growing these indoors successfully is make sure you only keep them about 2 to 3 inches away from the light. No more than that or they're going to get leggy, and this will definitely stunt their growth. And another thing is, make sure that you don't fertilize them until they develop their first set of true leaves, the leaves that actually look like the vegetable that you're growing. And the reason for this is, if you fertilize them too early, they're going to push out leaves too soon, and their stems are not going to be strong enough to support that growth. So timing really does matter here. And the reason why these long season summer crops are so important important to plant in February. The timing really is critical here, is because by the time those plants are ready, your early season greens, which hopefully you planted back in January, are going to be done producing. And if these plants are ready to roll, you're going to keep the food flow going and you won't run out of things to harvest and eat from your garden. This next group of crops is one that many gardeners start too early, but when you start them too soon, it actually costs you harvest. And here I'm talking about your short run summer crops. Cucumbers, squash, melons, they are very fast growing crops, and when you start them from seed too soon, what the roots do is they hit the sides of the root container, and when that root gets bended or kinked, it actually stunts the plant. So timing here again is very critical. Northern gardeners, with your frost date out there in April, don't start them this month. We'll talk more about those next month. But southern gardeners, it's getting warm where you live, we'll be able to get these planted outside within a month or so. Now you've got to get them started. So your cucumbers, melons, and squash, 3 to 4 weeks before the soil is warm enough to get them in the ground. That's when you want to start them indoors. That's the sweet spot. That's what will give you lots of harvest from these plants. If they get stunted, they might not recover, and that's going to affect that food flow that we've been talking about. So very easy to get these started from seed. You can start them in 6-packs. A lot of times I like to start them in these larger 4-inch containers because they grow so fast, it gives them a little bit more room to grow indoors. Strategy I recommend using is, instead of planting trays and trays of seeds all at once, plant a couple of 6-packs of these every couple of weeks. It fits better into the food flow system because you're not overwhelmed with tons of vegetables all at once. You're spacing them out so you keep the food flowing, and that way you always have something to eat from the garden. Now, if you're looking to buy seeds, we would love it if you would head over to our seed shop at CaliKimGardenHome.com. We're a small business, a family-run seed shop, and we've got lots of new varieties. Like I mentioned, we've just updated our most popular spring garden seed collection, which has some of these vegetables in it. But if you want to grow different varieties, grab the squash or the melon or the cucumber seed collection. You can grab them all on sale right now for 26% off to celebrate the gardening season 2026 with the code Thrive26. If you're enjoying our videos and you would like to support us, this is one way that you can do that. Thank you so much. Next group of crops, absolutely critical to start in February, are the cool season crops. And this mainly applies to you northern gardeners, but you southern gardeners might be able to fit some in too. Now, northern gardeners, if you don't start the cool season crops this month, we're talking broccoli, cauliflower, cabbages. Northern gardeners, get them planted now from seed indoors, even though it's cold outside. You're going to be so glad you did. If you don't start them now, you won't have transplants that'll grow to size that you can get in the ground and then harvest before the warm weather hits. But grow more compact varieties, like I have in my fall garden seed collection and my spring garden seed collection, so you're able to get a harvest before it gets too warm. Now, there's lots of things that you can actually direct seed right in the garden. I've got other videos on how to direct seed carrots, beets, the root vegetables, and lettuce. Those are super easy just to direct seed right in your garden beds. Southern gardeners, really is your last call for cool season greens like lettuces. Let me show you some of the greens I have growing right now. It's really easy to grow them. It's a little bit cooler right now in the late winter time. I have some mustard greens in the back there, arugula, lettuce, and some more mustard greens just coming up. So right now is a great time to direct seed your cool weather greens for you southern gardeners. You northern gardeners will want to wait just a little bit until a few weeks before your last frost date and kind of work the soil. Is a really good time for you to direct seed those. But the key is get them started in your garden beds or in your containers about 4 to 6 weeks before the heat reaches 80 degrees, because after that point, these beautiful, lovely greens are not going to look so beautiful anymore. They'll start to bolt, go to seed, and then you'll have to switch over to your warm weather greens, which we'll talk about that in a few months. Now, one reason why my food flowed method works is because crops are planted in sequence. First, you have the early season greens to feed you first thing in the season, and then you have the longer season cool weather crops like your cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower that come along next. Then you've got your warm season long crops that you're planting at the same time. That will be the next in sequence. And then you have your shorter season warm crops, your cucumbers, squash, and melons that you'll be eating in there somewhere too. So February is the month to make the sequence work. If you stop planting now or wait to plant till next month or the month after, that food flow stops, and that's when you have gaps in the food that you can harvest from the garden. February is go time. This is the month the season actually begins. The trays are filling up with soil, the seeds are going in, the plants are growing, the momentum is officially rolling. If you miss this month, there's no reset button. But if you get it right, the rest of the season just gets easier. Let's get it planted this month. Garden like you mean it. Thanks for following along. We'll see you on the next video.